welcome to Newsletter Chat. I am Jenifer Carll-Tong, Christian romance writer and non-aficionado of newsletters, all things newsletters. Um, and welcome to Newsletter Chat. Good morning, Piper. So glad to have you here. Piper as well. She's in the chat with us today, and she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to newsletters too. So we're hopeful that you are here and have questions. And yeah, thanks for joining us. So today I would like to talk about, and if you have any questions, please put them in the comments because I'm more than willing to stop talking about what I'm doing and answer some questions. So today I want to talk about my newsletter campaigns over the last several weeks. So as you guys know, I had a book release. What you may not know is I actually hit #1 in Christian historical fiction new releases. Woohoo! It wasn't like the #1 for over the whole thing. It was for all the new releases, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I'd never done that before, so I was pretty excited about that. Sorry, I did not caffeinate a whole lot before I started today. My mouth was super dry. But if you have been tuning in to Newsletter Chat for any length of time, you'll know that I have been building my newsletter over the past, well, few years, but like really hit it hard this last year, knowing that I had this release coming up. And do that mostly through newsletter swaps and through promotions on both Story Origin and on BookFunnel. And then somewhere around 2 months ago, I kind of got a little nervous about my list. And I thought, I felt like I had put my newsletter list, I had built it with a bunch of freebie seekers. And no offense to anybody that's a freebie seeker, that's up to you, that's fine. But for me to put my energy into something, this is my career and I need to build my career. So I need to find newsletter subscribers that are going to be interested in actually buying the book at some point. So coming into this launch, I did something that I'm probably not going to do for the next launch is I did not push my pre-orders, even though I had pre-order. I didn't really advertise it a whole bunch. Just towards the end, I did a little bit. It was in my newsletter, but it wasn't like in your face. It was in my newsletter. And I priced it 99 cents for an introductory price in order to try to hit #1. And I wish I had done better research before I made that decision to realize how difficult it was going to be to reach #1 in Christian romance. I knew it was competitive. I guess I didn't realize how competitive it was and how many copies I'd have to sell within a day in order to reach Amazon's #1. Also, my thinking has changed quite a bit because I am a wide author. And so I wanted to try this once anyway, but really my plan is to make money, really not to be concerned with how many of those charts I'm hitting. But third book, I have another book coming out, just want to try it out. So I probably will not price at at 99 cents again. Especially since the advice I'm getting is that it's your avid readers that are going to show up those first few days. So they're going to pay the $3.99, which that's actually very genius when you think about that. It's later on that you want to price it down. But anywho, that's what I did. It's still at 99 cents because that's the advice I took from someone else to leave it up for 10 days. I don't know if I'm going a full 10 days. I think so. But um, anywho, so let's get back to the newsletter. So I did the math this morning and my newsletters received anytime that I put in my book, in my newsletter that my book was available, or even a pre-order thing, or even an image or anything. I did the math on all of it throughout all the past weeks. And in total, I got less than 150 clicks. Now, keep in mind, I have over 1,000 people on my subscriber list. I'm going to share screen here for a second too, or here in a second. The other thing is my click rates are abysmal now. And so I don't know if you found this, Piper, that the more people that you've added, the worse your click rate gets. But mine has gotten even worse because I stopped a couple months ago. I stopped doing swaps and I stopped doing like promotions that were targeted towards building your list. And when I stopped doing that, I noticed that my list started to grow organically because I do have a perma-free. Now you can see here, February was the last month that I did any promos. March was the first month that I didn't do any promos, actually trying to build my list. And so I got 112 subscribers from people just finding me, most likely through my perma-free. At the back of the perma-free, you can get book 2 by signing up for the newsletter. So these are people that actually got through the book, read it, and liked enough to say, yes, I'm willing to receive your newsletter. Same thing in April, 113 people that, again, are readers and like the books. So far in May, we're halfway through, and I only have 38, but that's okay. I have not been pushing hard book 1 either because it was a launch. I kind of put my finances toward book 2. I'll talk about where my finances are here in a second. So I'm not surprised that my numbers are down there, but I'm still gaining people without putting any effort in. And they are people that have read my first book and that enjoyed enough to sign up for the newsletter, as opposed to somebody saying, yeah, I'll sign up for the newsletter just so I can get the free book right now. So Piper says, yes, the more people you add, the lower your open and click rates are. I knew that. The funny thing is, though, is that they're getting worse and worse and worse for me. And I think it's because lately, what have I been doing? Promoting my book, which is not a freebie. It is for sale. And I think what is happening is people aren't clicking because they're not interested. I built my list with a bunch of people that are not interested, who have maybe on a promo will say, downloaded my book with 100 other books that were available and haven't even gotten to my book yet. So they don't care. They see that I've got next book out, but they haven't read the first one yet. So they're not going to click for the next one. So let's go ahead and look at campaigns and we'll talk about that. So here's my most recent campaign. Can you guys see that? Let me see if I can make that bigger. Might be easier. Okay. It's a little bit bigger to see. 4% click rate. Let's just skip back down here. Before ARC, before all this stuff. Oh, I have to go over here. Okay, so this was what I was averaging. 13%, 10%, 11%. Now, this is not when I'm at 1,000, but I'm still up pretty high. 11%, somewhere in the 30s. I used to be in the 40s, but somewhere in the 30s for the open rate. So let's go back. Okay. Oops, no, I really went the wrong way. There we go. Okay. So let's go all the way down here and see when I first started getting. All right, so here I have 900. I have almost 1,000. Still in the 30s, 14%. Still in the 30% open rate, 15% click rate. I was still doing really well. Even once I stopped, see, March, this is the end of March, and I wasn't doing any promos. I was only doing like things like, pushing my first book, which is still free, right? And then when I start getting into, do you want an advanced copy of the book? The clicks go down, right? Because, well, that would still be a free book, but you got to do something for it. You have to make sure that you give me a review, right? So less people interested. Ignore the ARC ones. The ARC ones are my super readers, my right advanced team. So they're going to open up everything just about. So those will help my overall rates. So then we get up here, and my actual one, Calling for Phoebe, is now live. 64 people out of over 1,100 people clicked. So that was very sobering for me. I kind of was expecting it, though. I need some more coffee. I feel like I sound very morose, and I don't feel morose. I'm just not got my coffee in me yet today. All right, let's wake up. Okay, so that was very sobering for me, but at the same time, I was expecting it because the thing that was an eye opener for me is I had been doing newsletter swaps, and I swapped with somebody who wanted me to promote their new release. And we had swapped before, we did really well. And so I'm sure we'll swap. And so I put that in the newsletter and almost nobody clicked on it. And it was like a 99¢. It was not a very expensive one. And I was like, uh-oh. So what does that mean for me? And everyone kept saying, well, but they're your fans. They'll buy your book. I'm like, all right, we'll see. Well, less than 150 people clicked, and statistically, that would mean that they didn't all buy either, because that's just kind of how it works with newsletters. So, yeah. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to salvage this. And one of the things that I need to do, and I don't think I can show it without showing here, I'll remove, is when I go to subscribers, I can't show screen right now because it shows everybody that is a subscriber and their actual email addresses, and I don't want to show that. There is, oh, let me make this bigger. Maybe that will help. And I got this tip from Piper because she's done it. All right, so here's my subscribers, and see across here they have all these, I can do segments, groups. If I click on groups, you'll see that I have ARC readers as a separate group, so I can send just to them. All the way down here is cleanup and active. And when you click on this is what I get. And 217 inactive subscribers. Inactive subscribers are people who have either never opened an email from you or have previously opened email from you, but haven't opened one in more than 6 months. So if someone's not opening an email in the last 6 months, then I probably need to cut the ties, right? But they have this saying called, before you unsubscribe your inactive subscribers, you can try a win back campaign. So Piper, let's talk about, I'm gonna click on it. Talk about win back campaigns. Let's talk about that. So here's what I want to show you too. MailerLite is so great. You click on that and there's a whole article on how to do it. You can go to YouTube and there's a video to watch on it. It's like super great. I love their customer service. If you have a problem when you email them, they get back to you as soon as possible. They never treat you like you're stupid. And trust me, I've done some really stupid things. So I am not an affiliate. Not sure why I'm not an affiliate. I probably need to be an affiliate because I talk about them as if they are like golden. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing next is I'm going to do a win back campaign. So Piper, how many people, if you don't mind sharing in the chat, how many people did you have that were inactive? And then how many did you end up like cutting from your list because they didn't respond to your campaign? My mouse isn't working. Okay, there we go, because I was on the other screen. Piper says, but a lot of email providers allow readers to read in preview mode and it doesn't record as an open. That's a good point. So don't just cut them, right? Send them. That is really, really good point. So what Piper is saying is that if somebody is able to read in the preview mode, they may get enough of the email and not actually read the whole email, but they keep on top of what you're doing. So that's a really good point. So you don't want to just cut these people. You need to send them out this win back campaign. So the way that it works is you send out an email only to people, MailerLite, MailChimp, all of them will let you do this. You send out an email only to the people that are in your inactive, listed as inactive, and you put a really catchy, some sort of subject line, and you can Google search that because there's all kinds of people that have suggestions. But I think Piper's was something like, "Are we breaking up?" or something like that, or is this? I've seen people say this is your because I get lots of them because I don't open up all my emails. This is your last email from me, or this could be your last email from me. Something like that. I think that's what I'm going to use is this could be your last email from me. Though the breaking up thing is really good because I'm a romance writer. Let me know what you guys think. So Piper says, I've sent twice. The first was around 250 and it doesn't respond directly asking to stay. The second round went about a month or so later, 85 people, all gone. All right. So probably should do this monthly. And the nice thing about this would take me below to where I wouldn't have to pay for MailerLite anymore, but I really enjoy the extra features. And if I'm adding 100 people a month organically because I am doing promotions and ads towards my first in series for the sell through, then it would make sense for me to probably keep the not stop paying for MailerLite because it's just going to kick back in again that I have to pay again. We'll see. But even if I dump these people, sounds terrible. MailerLite looks at your month as a whole, how many unique users you have. So I would still be charged for probably the next month, and that's totally fine. Okay, so let me get this back down to regular size. So that's what I'm doing next. Something. All right, so that's what I want to talk about. If you guys have any more questions, all right. So Piper says that she's down to just over 600 subscribers. I would be okay with that if they were 600 subscribers that were more active, 600 subscribers that had read my book. That I'd be okay with, because I know that newsletter is king. I know that is the number one way that people are going to buy my books. That's how authors sell most books, is through the newsletter. But you got to do it right, I believe. And on top of that, I can't not do my other social media, because I sold a lot of books through Facebook because of people that follow me or that follow it, but they just don't do newsletters. They are still out there. I don't think I sold anything through Instagram, I'll be honest, even though that's my favorite platform. I love being on there. I don't think I'm selling anything there. I'm honestly not a huge fan of Facebook, mostly because I get sick of looking at my newsletter feed and people arguing. I don't have time for that. But I'm clearly selling books there, so I need to be over there more often. Okay. I wanted to talk about I want to talk about this campaign. Let me add this back to stream. Okay, so one other thing that I did during this whole time when I was promoting my book is I did let me find it here. I'm going to show you. I went too fast. I'm really sorry. Oh, it was already highlighted, probably because I was just in there. Why won't it open? Oh, it was just taking its time. Piper says I use Facebook for groups and on. Yeah, I'm so much more active in my writer groups right now, because I know people were complaining that they don't see anything in their feeds from their friends anymore. All they see is their groups, and I'm loving that. I really am. I don't know why Facebook did that. Maybe because there was so much hate going on, but I'm getting alerts from the groups that I really wanted to get alerts from the beginning. And I just saw that in one of the groups that I'm in, a writer group, I actually have one of those tags that, like, what do they call it? Like, where I'm a good provider of answers and people like the answers I give. And I was like, aw. Okay, so this email here, your chance to be on my advanced reader team goes bye-bye at midnight. Again, that's another one of those subject lines that I found. I did research months ago, and I read a bunch of articles, and I found, like, articles that gave examples of really good subject lines, and then I took the best ones that I liked and ones that I could transfer and change into ones for, like, an author. And this is one of those. Like, this was like your chance to, I think, buy something. I don't know. Your chance at half off jeans ends at midnight or something like that. So it was something like that, and I really liked it. And so you can see I only had almost 4% click rate is all. But here's what I wanted to show you. I sent this one by time zone, and I had never done that before. And it's one of those things that when you pay for MailerLite, it's an option that you get. And since it was a midnight thing, I thought, well, I want to make sure. And I went later than midnight to make sure that everyone had a chance. And how cool is this? Okay, so here's a map. And when you click on it, not only is it a map and you can see what time that they sent it, I had them go out at, I think, 8. Oh, I can tell you, and click on where I live in Michigan. Oh, that's not exactly right, because all of Michigan should be in this right here. I don't remember sending it at 7 a.m. It's off a little bit, because anywho, it doesn't really matter. But it tells you I only sent 1 email to that time zone, 0 to that time zone, 2 to that time zone, 171 to that time zone, 23 to that time zone, 243 to that time zone, 565. Like, I just thought that was pretty cool that I can actually see by time zone how many emails were sent to each person, not just country. So I don't know what I would ever do with this, other than trying to decide when is, a really good time to send my newsletters. I always send them Eastern. like a good time that's Eastern, which clearly that is working for me because if most of my emails sent out, like half of them are that, but I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool. I wanted to share that. Oh, Piper says, sorry, it went out before I was ready. LOL. Yes, groups and on a few people. Yep. Teresa says, I actually went on Facebook and unfollowed most of all my friends so that my newsfeed is only work and writing related. And I'm so much happier there now. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like social media can be such a great tool, but it can also weigh you down. I was thinking about this morning. So like I was laying in bed, not be able to sleep. That's why I'm probably tired now, is because I did fall back asleep. But at like 4 in the morning when my husband got up to go to work, then I just couldn't sleep. And I don't know why I started thinking about social media and how it can be such a drag on people and it's such an addiction. But it's also such a really good tool. And I think that being in really good positive groups really helps. And I think that should be motivation to me to make my author group of the fans that I have. And there's over 100 in that group. I should make that a fun place to be and like a bright like ray of sunshine in this world, right? I should take the time to do that. So one of the things I'm going to do with that is I have all these pictures when I went to the Upper Peninsula to for my son's graduation. I was thinking it was my niece's, but no, my son graduated from a college up in the Upper Peninsula, way up in the Upper Peninsula is where he went. It was an engineering school. And when we were headed up to the graduation, we left a day early. We went, you go up into the Upper Peninsula, and then you have to go all the way down to the Dog Lake. It's like the middle of nowhere, out on the tip of what we call the Dog Lake. If you look at the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, you'll see it. And we went to this abandoned ghost town that is now a state park that they're kind of slowly fixing the buildings up, but most of the buildings are still in really great shape. It was abandoned by like 1905. Like everyone was gone from it already. But anyways, it was really cool because it was this like basically the setting of my book, even though I hadn't been there before and I'd already started writing the book. So I have all these pictures of these cool buildings and the setting and the Lake Michigan wrapping around it. And so I think I'm going to do a live in there, like schedule live, where I just sit and go through the pictures and talk about what we saw without really talking about the book. Because see, that's the thing, is I can't do spoilers. And then the other thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to offer what I did for my advanced readers. I'm going to go into the group and see if anybody's interested in me doing a book club with them. Because I'm thinking that what I'd like to start doing, because communication is my number one strength and strength finders. So I don't mind being on video. I don't mind like in front of strangers. I don't care. I don't mind getting up. If somebody came up to me and said, would you pray over lunch over in front of these 3,000 people that are here? I would not even mind. Like it's just, that doesn't phase me. So I was thinking that maybe I would start putting it out there that I could do library, like virtual book clubs with library, like book clubs and reading groups at different libraries around the nation, around the world, as long as they speak English so I can understand, and so I thought I would start with my own group and see what they thought, if they liked that idea. So we'll see. So not really newsletter related, but it kind of is, because I'm crafting a newsletter to go out to my readers to see if anyone is interested in doing that with their own library group. And I want to make it sound exciting enough that because really I only need like 3 or 4 people to do it, to like make it worth the work, right? Really only one. If one person writes me back, it's like, yes, I have a reading group. Will you come virtually? That would be enough. But if nobody responded, I'd feel really bad. Piper says, I love to see what countries I get opens and clicks from. I should see if there's a way to see how many subscribers I have in different countries. Oh, that's a good. Again, let me stop sharing and see if when I go to subscribers, if you can tell. That's a really interesting idea. If not, that's an interesting idea to give to Mailer Lite, because they would love that. Because honestly, as a bookseller, I can see with Kobo how many books I'm selling in what countries. And I had no idea, but I have readers in France and I have readers in Italy. What was the other country that surprised me? I mean, I have I have a bunch of countries that I got one download in, but I have quite a few in France and in Italy. Of course, Australia, but they speak English. But what I'm saying is, like, when it's time for me to decide, do I want to do any translations of the book? Because that costs money. Like, and I would have to be selling enough books to make it worth it. I'd have to have enough books in my library to support that idea. Like, where do you start? If I knew how many subscribers I had in these different countries, how many book sales in different countries, it would make a difference, right? So let's see. Here's all subscribers. Choose a filter. Can't do it by choosing a filter, but yeah, that would be super cool. We should make that suggestion to MailerLite, because that would be very helpful to authors. I never thought about it, but it really would be helpful to us. So, plus also targeted advertising. If you're a wide author, you can do promotions with. It's not just about Amazon ads. Like, Kobo has promotions, Barnes and Noble has promotions, though they're mostly United States, I think that would, but still. I don't know about the other ones. Apple, I think you can do promotions. My next thing is to try some Kobo promotions. So, actually, I'm going to focus on some Facebook ads too. I'm going to actually, now that I'm past today is the last day, the last paid newsletter promotion that I have for my book launch. So after today, well, I have a wedding to worry about. It's coming this coming weekend. But then after that, next week, my focus just goes back to promoting book 1, working on getting the editing finished of book 4, and I'm going to dip my toes into the Facebook ads. So that's where I'm at right now. And then figure out how my newsletter fits into that, because I'm not going to give up my newsletter just because I didn't have really great clicks from them. It's about cleaning it up, which is the other thing I'm going to do. Is I'm going to clean up my newsletter this week and send out a one of those campaigns to see who wants to stay on and who wants to be gone. So yeah. Okay, that's really all I had to talk about, unless you guys have other things you want to talk about. I feel like I'm babbling today. Some days I'm good. Other days I feel like no one wants to hear what you have to say, Jen. But we're right at a half an hour, which is usually my goal. Last week it went a lot longer, but that's all good. So this week I am going to send out what is that campaign called again? So I get it right. I'm going to send out a win back campaign this week. I am also going to send out a newsletter on Saturday like I normally do. I am probably going to include some of my pictures from that trip. If I'm able to share them first in my Facebook group first, because then I will be able to say, hey, I shared all these in my Facebook group, if you're not part of my Facebook group, and just try to do some cross promotion there and see what super fans I can get to come on over. And yeah, that's what I'm doing for newsletters this week. So that's it. Cleaning up. And then I'll hopefully have a report for you guys next week about the cleanup. Because as soon as we finish here, that's what I'm going to work on is writing that email. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me today. I will be back tomorrow morning with the live writing sprints right here on the same channel from 8 until 10 a.m. Teresa Thomas Writes does them for every day, Monday through Friday from 6 until 8 a.m. So go on over and subscribe to her channel as well. And I'm also on Friday going to be on the Christian Indie Writers podcast, where we are going to be talking. No, I won't be there this week. The other ladies will be there. I will be on my way to a wedding. So I'm not going to be there this week. And I honestly don't remember what they're talking about today. Or on Friday, because I'm not going to be there. So I'm really sorry. I think it's editing. I think they're going to talk about some editing. I will not be here next Monday either. There'll be no writing sprints next Monday because wedding. But we'll be back at it next Tuesday, and I'll have a report for you guys about this. So I really appreciate you guys being here. Piper says, have a great day. You guys, yep, I agree. Everyone have a lovely day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.